Aiyana Maat, marriage educator and relationship coach. You can check out our website at blackloveandmarriage.com. And I asked you this question, whether or not relationships can survive infidelity. Obviously, we know that some do, but here's the catch. You wonder how many people truly forgive, Aiyana, and how many people are just resentful and staying together because of the kids, because of money, because of the whatever. How do you know the difference between a person that's truly forgiving you and a person that's just tolerating you?
You know, I think that couples who are in that situation, they will be able to tell the difference, because what you're really trying to get back to is a sense of connection and a sense of intimacy that, as I mentioned earlier, can really go much deeper than it was before. And you know, if you're living with someone and they're a roommate and, you know, you don't feel safe with them, and couples have to really be intentional about creating a new safe space with each other so that they can look at what is the root of this thing. What happened? Why was the cheating going on in the first place? And what I always say is that the person who steps out, it's not because or whatever they fill in the blank with, because I wasn't getting any sex, or, you know, I was lonely, what have you. It's because of what's going on inside of them and their inability to deal with the natural stressors that come with being in relationship. And so they've got to look within themselves, and the other person has to have compassion for them in doing that, and they both have to give that to each other. So it's a real deep process that they have to go into, and I think that it can be done, but they've got to have the right frame of mind.
You know, whenever you hear that, you know, when people throw it back up in your face weeks or months or years later, you know they haven't forgiven you when they use that as a way of getting back at you when something else goes wrong in the relationship. I mean, when you're talking to these couples about fixing their problems, are you saying, look, first, before we even move any further, are you really prepared to forgive this person, or are you just tolerating them? Because you got to really be ready to forgive them from the beginning. Because I understand it's a process, but some people in their hearts know, like me, for example, like me, I would say, if my woman cheated on me, if I got cheated on, I don't know that I could forgive that. And I would be honest by saying, you know what? That's too big for me. It's okay for a person to say it's too big for them, right? That forgiveness is not possible for everybody.
But here's what I challenge people to do even more is, I do think that oftentimes even well-meaning counselors and the other person who's done the cheating, and they say, look, it wasn't that deep, I really love you. They're trying to encourage the person who has been offended to get over, to move forward. And I think that being in a relationship means just this. You have to be willing to go forward knowing that this person has a right to be angry, to even be despondent, and to even not participate with you for a while.
That?
But that's really what being in a relationship is about. It's about hanging in there through the toughest of times. So I think we have to give people room to go through their own process and not say, look, if you're going to stay in, then you need to come on and try to forgive right now. Let's move forward. You can't do that. That's not realistic.
I like that. And I think it's very important that person know, look, this could be years. This could take years. And if they're not ready to understand that, maybe that infidelity for them was too big for them to have committed, because now you've committed something that you're not prepared to pay for. Because the payment may be years. That one night or that one period of time that you had that affair may cost years of your marriage being built back up.
Let me tell you something. I've always talked about myself pretty transparently. And early on in my marriage and early on in my relationship with my husband, we were high school sweethearts. I had great issues of distrust. I had issues of abandonment, typical scenario. My father was in and all of that. And so let me tell you, if he had cheated on me in my relationship, I know for a fact that it would be very, very, very difficult for me to just get over it and move on, because what it's going to do for me is trigger my own issues of abandonment in the first place, my own issues of trust. So we have to realize that these things have a domino effect. And so I would not abandon the relationship, but it would be a long time for me to get better and get to a better place, because it's bigger than just what happened.
And it always usually is. I mean, I don't think that we're understanding. I don't know that, first of all, we even know our partner's really deep issues. But if we do, we got to understand that is going to magnify everything that's wrong and make it twice as difficult to get over. Or should I say, you have to put in twice as much work to get over it.
Absolutely.
I want to get into this. I want to get into this issue of the man. Men being able to forgive. What is it with us? I know what it is with me as a man, but generally speaking, what is it with men that we have a hard time forgiving?
Here's what I think. I have dealt with it on both sides, and what I tend to get from it, this is my own opinion from my professional assessment, looking at this over the years, and what I have seen is that men are tied to a world and a culture that is thick, American culture, African American culture, wherever you are, that says you are not good enough if your woman does something with someone else.
Not only that, you're weak. You're weak. See, that's the part for men. You're weak. Not just good enough. You are weak.
Oh, you are weak. Yes. I mean, that's it. That this really is a commentary on who you are as a man. Because the fact that she went out somewhere else, you are not holding it down.
Exactly.
So I think when I get people together by themselves, the men are able to be a little more honest about where they see the frailties in the relationship. But it's the facade. It's the outside that really pressures men in terms of dealing with this thing.
But you know what else? I can tell you from a man's point of view, men always choose a woman who they believe is better than they are. So if I chose someone that I felt was better than me and she went out there, look, in a man's mind is so visual. In our mind, he just tore it up, you know, I mean, because she gave herself to a man and he just flipped her. She was on the chandeliers, on the wall, you know, and we have this visual in our minds. And I think it's hard for us because of our manhood being tied so much to our sexuality that it's hard to forgive that. It just really is for us.
But I would chat. What I always do with men is I challenge them to try to take the focus off of, I can't forgive that. It's so hard because I'm thinking all these things, and look at those thoughts come from some place inside of you that you need to address. Because if you're able to say that it has to do with my manhood and my sexuality, all that's tied in, and the culture is thick, and what are my boys thinking, if you're able to say that, then you're able to go to a higher level of thinking and know that it's not just that.
All right, Aiyana, now I'm battling with you. Now you got me battling with you. Here's my other perspective on this. Let's say the guy is putting it down. I mean, the sex is there. He know he's packing, whatever. You know, he's putting it down. Now it makes it even more difficult to trust because he knows he was putting the effort out there. They know they had a pretty vibrant sex life, and she still went and did it with somebody else. Now in his mind, she's a hoe. Now you're going to say to yourself, I have married a hoe. I mean, seriously, that's what a man is going to say. It's one thing if you're not giving it to her, then the insecurities kick in. But if you are and she still cheats, because a lot of men think that as long as I'm paying the bills and I'm giving you some sex, hey, whatever. And maybe that's not enough for a lot of women. And she's saying, I need affection, like the emotional cheating that goes on with a lot of women, right? How do you forgive that? Emotional cheating is almost more difficult to forgive than sexual cheating.
It really is. I mean, this gets back to what I said early on in the fact that you really can allow this issue to take you to another level because it begs questions to be answered that are deeper than just, oh, she a hoe. I mean, okay, yeah, but then let's look beyond that. Let's look beyond that very surface kind of reaction and also realize that most of the things that we do in relationships, whether they are these kinds of relationships, you know, marriage or committed relationships or whatever, don't have anything to do with the other person. Because at the end of the day, you can do you, but what I do in response to you is my own decision. You know, so most of it does not have to do with the other person. We have to deal with ourselves individually in terms of our maladaptive ways of dealing with stuff, and then look to each other and figure out how we can support each other and how we actually push each other in that direction. But at the end of the day, it's us. It's us. It's us. We have to take responsibility for self.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me try not to mess this woman's name up again. Aiyana Maat, marriage educator and relationship coach. You can check out at www.blackloveandmarriage.com, which, by the way, I like that. blackloveandmarriage.com. We posted on Baisden Live on Twitter and Facebook. I'll battle with you later, Aiyana.
All right, and Michael, can I just say this? This was a wonderful topic in mesh with a seminar that we have coming up online called Infidelity, Understanding the Pain of Cheating and the Pathway to Healing, November the 28th at 8:30 p.m. for $10, an online class, blackloveandmarriage.com.
Hey, just give me the information. I'll blog it on that Monday.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
By the way, that's Good Man Monday on the Michael Baisden Show.
Good Man Monday.
Good Man
All
Monday.
Right.
Yeah, you like that, don't you?
I do. I do.
You can borrow that if you need to. Take care, lady.
All righty. Thank you. Have a good one.